Hello friends, and welcome back to Art as Encouragement. Miss Lily here, hoping that you are well and enjoying the warmer weather. Today we will be working on gratitude cards, thank you cards, inspired by Keith Haring's fun and colorful artwork. Please watch the tutorial that is included in this video series on Keith Haring and how to create Keith Haring characters. For this class, you will need construction paper of different colors, blue and red, as well as white paper, and that could be construction paper, copy paper, or cardstock. You will need pencil, eraser, glue stick, scissors, and your imagination. Let's get started. We're using this image as inspiration. So what I'm thinking is, this looks like a bunch of people having fun. And what I think we will say is, we celebrate, because this looks like a celebration, don't you? We celebrate you, and then on the inside of the card, I think I'm gonna make a heart that will say thank you for all you do. What do you think? All right, let's get started. Hello again, dear friends. Miss Leggio here. Today, I want to talk to you about Keith Haring. Do you know Keith Haring? I bet many of you do. Keith Haring was an American graffiti and pop artist who started to draw as a very small child. His father made cartoons, so Keith naturally started making cartoons too and creating characters and little stories. When Keith was a young man, he moved to New York City, where he fell in love with the variety of museums and different art styles that he saw all around him. He loved all the murals and graffiti that were all over the city, and he started to develop his own style. Let me show you some images of his colorful, fun, and joyful artwork. In an interview, Keith said, I bought a roll of paper and cut it up and put it all over the floor and worked on this whole group of drawings. The first ones were abstracts, but then these images started coming. There were humans and animals in different combinations. Then the flying saucers were zapping the humans. I remember trying to figure out where all this stuff came from, but I have no idea. I think it probably came from cartoons, don't you? Keith's artwork has so much energy and joy, and I think that's why people love it. Many teachers in schools still teach their students how to make art like Keith Haring because it's not that hard for kids to make, but it also shows kids how to create movement, animation, and fun in their drawings. Have you ever drawn a Keith Haring picture? If you have not, I'm going to show you how to create the people, animals, and symbols that made Keith's work so wonderful. Hey again, we're going to be working on heads. To begin with, we're going to make Keith's most basic head that you see in a lot of his drawings. It's a circle with a little tube attached to it, like the neck. So that's one. Next is pretty much the same head, but in this one, we are going to draw a heart that you can color any color you want. You can do any other symbols, like Keith liked to make these X's in his heads. You can write words. Try different things. Next head is someone leaning on their side. So see, they're kind of bending over. They could be dancing. They could be picking something up. This next head, we begin with a C that is, or a bowl, like a bowl shape. And then we make these sides to it that almost look like you're making a quarter moon, but it's a head that looks like maybe something with horns, or a mask with a brick in the middle that could be a place to look out from. The final head, we start with an M, and it's a dog head. So see the M? And then you make another kind of M. You see, look at that. 1 and 2. You see how that looks like an M? And there you have your dog head. If you had an eye, check that out. So there we have 5 different Keith Haring heads. Next, we will be working on arms and torsos. Your torso is your upper body. So to begin, we're going to do some arms that are reaching or cinching the waist, touching the waist. Now, I think some of you may probably see that there are already some lines drawn in. I always begin in pencil because it helps me that if I make a mistake, then I can just erase it. See, even teachers work in pencil. So please work in pencil and then do your marker. This one, the arms are up over the head, kind of outstretched, like you're stretching in the morning. This one arm, the arms are out, like you're flexing your bicep muscles in your arms, your big muscles, or dancing. This next one, the arms are over the head, like you're saying, I am the champion, I won. Again, a lot of movement in Keith Haring's images. And then finally, this one is doing a little Egyptian dance. Have you ever seen someone doing a funny Egyptian dance? This is an Egyptian dance looking one. So here we have it, our 5 different arm and torso shapes. Next is the legs. So with the first pair of legs, they're closed. So we're going to draw 3 lines that bend. So here we have 3 lines that bend, and then we begin with one foot, then the next foot, and then we connect it. See how simple that was? Next pair, the person is kind of crouching like they are a catcher in a baseball game, and they're the catcher. See that? You kind of create almost like a U shape underneath. Next, you're going to make a U, upside down U. And then you're going to come down on one side and make a foot, come all the way down, and see how simple that one was? Next, a person, they're going to be on their side, like they're dancing. So bend the leg, make the foot, bend the other leg, and they're actually standing on one leg. See how the other leg is lower? And they're lifting their leg to do a little dance. Next one, the person is standing on both legs and they've got their legs kind of open and their feet splayed to the opposite sides. Lots of dancing in these images. And then finally, another person kind of with their leg up in the air, like the first one on this row, and the other leg also bent. So see that? Here are our legs. I think those are the simplest part. Now, symbols, lines, and things. Last but not least, my favorite, really, the movement lines that are so prevalent in Keith Haring images, all the dancing and jumping. Next, lightning bolts, which are also present in his images. And now this, I think, this little symbol, I don't know why it reminds me of a little bird, but it does. But you will also see it in his images, and you may want to include it in yours. Of course, there's always hearts and X's. Oh, that X is a little bit off the screen. There we go. Back in. And the X's are usually filled in and black, but you can do it any color you want, and that's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to be outlined in black, but many of his images are. Next is his iconic spaceship. So I begin with a D, right? You see how that looks like a D, and then I put a little skirt on the D and some lines there. And then I turn it into a sombrero or hat. And then he sometimes puts these little C's in there, and then again a little skirt on your sombrero with lines through it. And then the piece de resistance, some lightning bolts. So see, doesn't that look cool? And it's really not that hard. Oh, that lightning bolt, those lightning bolts didn't look as good as the others, but that's okay. Now, he sometimes puts in an old-fashioned television. So the funny thing about these old-fashioned televisions is that they used to have knobs and no remote controls, and you would have to go up to them and change the channel, and there were only a few channels. Kind of crazy. Finally, I think I will draw a dog. Remember the M's, 2 M's, and then let's see, some legs, some front paws, body, another couple of back legs there, and a tail, of course. And there we have it, an eye, and there you have it. Some symbols that you can include in your Keith Haring painting.